Okay. Okay. Well, guys, we did it. We made it to the very end. Mm. Just so those know, I became a little late for when the 3DS and Wii U eShop has closed. Um, but that's just part of. I mean, it's closed. And I've checked them recently, and the store pages are pretty empty. It's depressing, actually. So I hope that those who follow the 3DS and Wii U legacy had enjoyed the journey from the very start to the very end. And I have from the start to the end. So um, before I can say my words about my time growing up, I'm going to point out a few things for these two guys. So let's start with the Wii U. You may not be the best seller, in fact, one of the worst sellers, which is unfortunate, but you were the first step for major companies to accept small, very small third party developers with um with one of my personal favorites being Treefall Studios. If it wasn't for that kind of move, um those small studios would still be undermined because of that status quo. And even though that the features you carry for the Wii U games like Star Fox Zero, Mario Party 10, and Game and Wario, even though that it may not entirely be successful in features, you were still able to pass the torch into another generation console that was able to live on. It wouldn't have made it this far without you. I should probably add some personality to the console. And as for the 3DS, it was able to take a step forward after the Nintendo DS. And even though it wasn't as good in features, it was still able to live on as one of the most unique wasn't as good in features, it was still able to live on as one of the most unique gaming consoles to ever live in society. And that's something we shouldn't forget. That's something we shouldn't forget. Neither of them we should forget. We shouldn't forget. Neither of them we should forget. So now that we're at an age where their e-downloads are no longer possible, we must move forward to remember them as part of the Nintendo family. And and now that I believe I said everything, I'm gonna give my words about growing up with the platforms. And if you want to talk about something, go ahead and share it on the live stream, even though nobody's watching right now. Okay. When I was in my tens, or at least before 10, um, I did not care about the Nintendo video games at first because I was told that they're bad. They have magic and all that. Ooh. But then when I took a trip in Wisconsin, I had my first experience on the Nintendo Wii. It was an experience like any other, not the pushing buttons, but the movement of the activities of movement. Excuse me. And eventually, when I saw the DS and 3DS stuff on that Nintendo channel, that channel where they let you see videos of future stuff, I was outraged by it because it was taking over all the Wii videos, which I really enjoyed. Sounds childish, I know. But then I gave in when I grew curious about the Nintendo DS, specifically the Nintendo DS Lite. And the color I had was white, no, silver. And the very first game I've ever played was New Super Mario Brothers. It's unfortunate that game wasn't talked about as much when compared to other New Super Mario Brothers games, especially since it was a first step to a new gen, even though it wasn't entirely new gen feel in the game. But that's all right. And later on, I didn't have many DS games, but eventually I moved on to the 3DS on my birthday. And the color was flame red. The original 3DS size for kids in flame red. It was awesome. The best thing ever. And what came with it was Super Mario 3D Land and Super Mar no, Nintendogs. The I can't remember the name of the dog. It's the white cover, that version, and New Super Mario Brothers 2. And eventually I came across a game that truly not only ins- not only the most magical thing I've ever experienced, but also the game that gave me the path to video game development, Pokemon X. I hear it was not good when compared to previous generations, but I didn't care at the time because, well, I didn't know it. But the animation, the colors, it's so bright and vibrant and so magical. I couldn't stop. And the very first Pokemon I ever caught for Pokemon fans who were wondering was Pikachu. Yeah, he was in the forest at the very beginning of the game, and thankfully he was easy to catch. And so that point on, I decided to make my own stories, but not making video games, but just make my own sense of imagination. And um, and let's just say that growing up, it was wild how my imagination went. It's probably gonna sound a little embarrassing. So what happened back then is that I became the Pokemon champion in every single region. In other words, every single game that has the region. And then, as I traveled back home, I was being attacked by shadow Pokemon. In other words, Pokemon that's made of pure four-dimensional illusions of pure darkness. And so I had no choice but to jump off the plane, jump off the plane with a parachute, but they cut it off, and that's when I enter the realm of the lands where no human exists but Pokemon, and that's where my journey begins. And I'm not gonna keep going because it's a the world I built was a complete mix-up. It's confusing. It's like probably worse than Mondo TV with Simba King Lion and Simba King Lion and CC, those crazy shows. But I can't deny how big of a journey all the way up until I was in my late tens when I became a young adult. And I still carry them today because now I'm in the process of making my own stories. I have re reincarnated my whole world into something that can be shared in video games, and now I just need the time to develop them. But back to the topic. Back to the topic. Um, I return to the Nintendo eShop every year. I mean, it was constant throughout the year because the intro of the shop was so welcoming, especially the 3DS version, having the music change every few months, seeing what's new to offer. both major companies and third-party developers, big and small. And probably the best thing in my life is that at the at the beginning, during the black and white era, Pokemon Black and White, they offered 30 free episodes from Pokemon Black and White Rivals Destinies, the anime. It was the best thing I was ever offered. And even though I did not go back as often in the around the 2020s, um I still go back to it every now and then to see what they have to offer. And of course, when they announced that the Nintendo eShop was closing, I was depressed because I knew eventually that the time would end. I just wish it never ended. And so I went shopping as much as I can. And of course, I got a lot. I'm not one of those YouTubers who bought every single game, but it was a lot. A lot I could gather. Um, and um, on the very last day, which is today, actually yesterday, I went back to watching nearly every single video I thought of that was nostalgic. And anything I do miss, I can just watch it on YouTube now. But then after that, on the next day, I waited until the closing hour comes. But before I did, I make sure to shop the last few themes I could gather. But yeah, well, and while I was in school, just a few minutes until 8 p.m., I grew more and more scared of what will happen. That Nintendo eShop, both the 3DS and the Wii U, meant everything to me. I was even bursting in emotions, just waiting for that time to come. And when that time come, it was over. It's empty. What was once a welcoming to both young and old has become an empty place that no longer feels the same. And for that, I want to thank these two consoles for everything they did, letting me grow up, or letting me what I do growing up with them. And I'm still using them today, making YouTube videos about them, basically archiving the game. So follow me if you wish to see more, because I got oodles and oodles to go through. But yeah, it's that time to move on. And I hope that I hope that we can continue to remember these consoles as the root of not only what the 3DS has to offer, but also small third-party support that the Wii U was able to offer. Um, I want to give a huge shout out to Strawberry Shorty for doing whatever she can to help people find the games they wanted. She made numerous videos during this last year before the closing hour, and I helped supported her. So, cheers to her. And for those who have Wii U and 3DS games ranging from DSi to 3DS, I want to encourage you people to make videos on them, make walkthroughs, show the games that we are missing, archive them in vault websites. Cause yeah, there's a lot of archive websites. And here's hoping that their legacy, even if it's just the 3DS, here's hoping that the legacy of them will move on and still inspire people to make games based off their features. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna sing a little song. I will remember you. Will you remember me? For all the life we had with them. But now it's time to move on. So, thank you for following me, even though you're just watching this in a non-live stream moment, because, well, I'm pretty sure by the time anyone's watching as a whole, the live stream ends. But, if you wish to see any of the DS, DSi, Wii U, 3DS games that you might be missing since both eShops are now closed, you can check out my channel that you're watching right now called Playtunes Archive Gaming. And I was and as for other stuff from my channel, I was working on a video game which I'm pretty sure someone saw some shorts of it. Um I decided to go for an even simpler version, which I like to call a series I will be making called the 3D26. Which, for those who don't know, it'll be like Atari level of simplicity, but in 3D because it's Unity. You can put it in 3D, and that's where I'm currently learning to program and develop. So, if you wish to support me, go right ahead. And hopefully, I'll remember to upload some videos that I've recently made. It's not so easy because I'm currently in the middle of I'm currently in the middle of a school term, so I won't be making any videos during these next few weeks, at least until summer break. But I will try my best to remember on uploading the videos I have. So I hope you'll enjoy the experience because I definitely am. And also, I'm planning on showing themes on the 3DS I have to show to show the stuff I have. But yeah, thank you so much for thank you to 3DS and Wii U for everything. They People who have that experience will not be forgotten, and hopefully they will continue to inspire many. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on other upload videos. Bye.